Hi, this is Mrs. Zhu, and we're going to begin our Lesson 8 notes today. Remember, we're starting flipped instruction, which means that an instruction will actually be happening on these videos that you'll watch at home, so that when you come back, you can ask me any questions you have. We can practice together in class. Then I can assist you and help you with your work. So today our lesson is lesson 8. It is a 2-page sheet if you printed it on one-sided pieces of paper, or it's a one sheet double-sided if I handed it out to you in class. A couple of announcements and reminders. Next week you must start printing your own worksheets. Print your own. Okay, Mrs. Zhu will stop printing the worksheets for you, so you have to print them from Edmodo in the folders, and they will be labeled by weeks so you don't get confused. And so let's begin. As you watch the video, you must listen for your period's special code, a secret code, and that secret code will tell me that you watched the video, and you need to write that on your paper, and I'll tell you where. All right, let's start. Please spend some time trying and reading the worksheet by yourself if you want to. Before we begin, you can preview it, you can try it just to get an idea. So as I talk about it, it won't be unclear. I'm not going to spend time like reading this paragraph to you or reading every question word for word. You can do that on your own first before we begin. So you can pause the video now, and then we're going to start now. All right. Here's the chart of the mother's gas record. She used 8 gallons and drove 224 miles, 10 gallons, 284 gallons, 112. Now, question A is asking us to find the constant of proportionality. What is the constant of proportionality? How could we describe that? We have said before that it is the same thing as saying it's the unit rate. If I want to find the unit rate for the mother's miles traveled and the gallons that she used, then I would like to express it in miles per gallon. When we see that fraction bar, we read it as per. Sometimes we might say gallons per mile. Now, which one would make the most sense to us? Should we say it like miles per gallon or gallons per mile? Typically, we like to say MPG, which is miles per gallon, so we'll go with miles per gallon. That fraction that we set up will help us to determine how we should end up dividing our numbers, since fractions mean division. So I have that 8 gallons helped me travel 224 miles, so 224 over 8 is going to be the first fraction. If I divide that, go ahead and divide, and this is where you can work it out yourself, and you can pause the video to wait for the answer. When I divide it, I will get 28 miles per gallon, MPG. I'm going to try to do that with every single piece of data that she recorded. I'm going to do 280 out of the 10 gallons and then 112 out of the 4 gallons. I'm going to divide that. Divide all three. If I go ahead and divide all three, I will get 28 mpg, and I will divide again and also get 28 mpg. Go ahead and try the division yourself. Trying the division yourself will help you to practice dividing, so when you get to the quiz, you will not make as many mistakes in your division because you've been practicing it. Perfect. That is our constant of proportionality, just 28. So I'm going to highlight that. Then I want to explain what it represents. Well, we have already been labeling each one of them to say that they represent the miles per gallon. Represents miles per gallons traveled. Now I'm running out of space. I'm going to erase some of the things that I don't need here, like the notes. So we're going to say miles per gallon she traveled. So I'm going to highlight that as my final answer for A. Going down to B, now I'm going to write an equation. Remember that the constant of proportionality is also known as the letter K, and it comes from the equation that is known as y equals kx, a simple multiplication equation. Constant of proportionality times your x. Now your x is going to usually be your input, and y will be your output. For this specific question, and because it's set up in the table, the first part of the table is gallons. So that's going to be our X. We're going to put gallons of gas into the car. And what's going to come out, output, is the miles that we get to drive based on the number of gallons we have. So our input is gallons. And our Y output is miles. And so that's how it's going to be related. So the equation, since my constant of proportionality is 28, my equation will be y equals 28 times x. Just like that. I always like to put the y first, y equals, so I know that I have an output, and then equaling, then I get to see what I have to input. Y equals 28x. And I'm going to highlight that answer for us as well, so you know. Then letter C, knowing there's half a gallon in the tank when the light comes on, will she make it to the nearest gas station? All right. Let's go back to the paragraph. You should notice that it says that the nearest gas station is 26 miles away. Well, if it's 26 miles away, will she be able to make it to the gas station on half a tank? How much can she get on half a gallon of tank? How many miles can she travel on a half a gallon? How many miles does she travel on one whole gallon? We had just answered that in question A because that was our constant of proportionality. 28 miles she can travel on 1 gallon of gas, which means if she only has half a gallon, she will have half of the 28 miles on the 1 gallon. So what's half of 28? It's the same as taking 28 and dividing it by 2. Half of it is dividing by 2. So if I divide by 2, I get 14. So she can travel 14 miles, but she needs to travel 26 to the gas station. So she clearly does not have enough gas. So our answer is no. And go ahead and write your own explanation, just like I had said. I'm not going to write the explanation, but the answer is no, and give an explanation. Give explanation in your own words. And letter D. Now that we have an equation from letter B, y equals 28x, we want to know how far she can travel on 18 gallons of gas. Now this equation, we said that the x stands for miles or gallons? Gallons. And we said that the y stands for our miles. So since it's telling us that she has 18 gallons of gas, it's a pretty big gas tank, pretty big car probably, then that is going to be our x. Our x is going to represent the 18 gallons. So I'm going to just simply plug the 18 into the x and chug. So I'm going to say that y equals 28 times the 18. And 28 times 18, I'm going to do that math over here. If you do the math correctly, you will get 504. So that's going to tell us that now y is equal to 504. That is how many miles she can travel. I'm going to go ahead and label that miles. Highlight it. There's my answer. That's one way to solve the problem. What would be another way to solve the problem? we could just simply multiply do some arithmetic and multiply 28 times 18 and still get 504. Really, it's the same thing. Rather than showing it in an equation, I simply just multiplied because I knew that. Maybe in my head I knew that. I understood it. I have great number sense. Perfect. That's just fine. Those could just be your two ways. And letter E, using the equation, we're going to find out how much gas is going to be needed if we travel 750 miles. So here's our equation. And here's the miles, the y. So here, the 750 is my y. So let's go ahead and plug that into the equation. Plug and chug. So we're going to have 750 equals to the 28x. I'm now going to look for the x. The x will give me the number of gallons. So how could I find x if I'm solving for this equation? Now this is going to take us back to 6th grade when you learned how to solve an equation. Since I am looking for what multiplies with 28, then I have to do the inverse of multiplication, which is division. So I have to divide 750 and 28. Okay, now what we're doing is we're isolating the variable x. So I like to put x here, keep my equal sign, bring the 28 over. It's going to move over. X is going to be all by itself. It's going to go where the 750 is, 750, and I'm going to write it right under the 750. And the math that I'm going to do with 750 and 28 is division, since here I did multiplication, so I always do the inverse, which is here division, divide. So I'm going to divide, so that's why I draw a fraction bar. So I'm going to divide 750 with 28, and it's really nice when I set it up in this fraction, because when I go to divide in the box, I know that the number on the top goes in the box. And so 750 is on the top, so it will go in the box. Go ahead and divide that, see what you get. You will get a decimal answer. I'm going to go ahead and help you divide this right now. Okay, I hope you're getting something close to 26.7. All right, and your final answer, because I'm going to keep dividing and it's going to keep going, we're going to go ahead and round to the tenths. So 7 is in the tens place. I look at the 8. 8 is bigger than 5. So the 7 is going to go up to an 8. So I'm going to say 26. My final answer, 26.8 miles approximately. Squiggly equal sign. That's our answer right there. Good job. Now on the back side, we're going to go kind of quickly through this worksheet. So feel free to pause when you need to. Now, we're going to look at all the ordered pairs here. I can see there's a dot here, there's a dot here, here. Okay, I see a 2 for the time, and a 3 for that, a 4, and a 6. And then here, a 9 and a 6. Okay, for N and T. Each of those 3 points that I found is going to be my ordered pair. My X first, then my Y. So 2 and 3, 4 and 6, and 6 and 9. And then at the bottom, I'm going to continue the rest of this worksheet on the following video. So sorry that this video is so long today, but here's your secret code in your next video.